started loving me. No room for testing, stressing me. Not here to please, make you a fake friend to me. You lost, don't bring your shit to me. Don't like what you see, trying to stand next to me. Okay, that was me, 2019, the end of my healing era, where I told everyone basically to kiss my ashes because I was done. Because people will take advantage of you. If you leave that door wide open, people will use you to the most, to the highest regard that you allow them to use you. So I know that a lot of people are going to vibe with this episode right here because it has to do with the moment, that moment that you realize this is the moment, this wait and see. I know you're going to hook into it. Friend, supposed, the fake friend, the fake friend type of people in my world. So I address a little bit about that in here. Let's go. I know you're gonna like a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, they thought they were funny though, right? You gotta your boundaries. If you let them cross those boundaries, they will wash you. In my life, in my world, something can be temporary until it's a forever thing. When I change something, it's not because I don't like it. It's just because it doesn't sit right. Everything has to sit right. And I will keep changing and moving things around until it feels right. And Her Kingdom Unlocked, that feels perfectly right. Where most people are scared of skeletons. No, not I. I don't run from skeletons. I drag them to the microphone and we go from there. Thank you for tuning in to any episode of my podcast. Enjoy, reflect, engage, follow, and rate the podcast. Dare leave a comment. And let's proceed with this newest episode. Each topic that I speak on in any episode I bring here, it is a topic that I have wholeheartedly dealt with at some point in my life. And I am sharing it because I know I am not alone on any accounts of any topic I speak on. All of these topics I know are worldwide. They have affected men and women, families, people. We care about people we don't. So I am sharing from my point of view. I'm not here for people to agree with me or disagree with me. We all have our own opinion. I'm just sharing things from my perspective. The moments you knew they were lying, but you let them. As I said, I know I'm not alone. The things we do for people in general. For me, this wasn't just a situation of a personal, how you say, because, I don't get it. I try not to get involved with the depth of things with people. People complicate shit for no reason. So I just, stay back. But I've had personal situations with people I have dealt with on a romantic level and also people on a platonic level where they, it was all a facade and a pretend, we were friends online, like as if that really exists. People online are just, is it crazy when you could literally feel a person lying to you online? And again, completely platonic. But yeah, soft, slow, dangerous calm is when a person lies to you, especially for no reason. There's a special kind of silence you learn to live with. The silence that comes right after someone lies to your face and you pretend you didn't hear it. And for me, this pertains to true life in a semi a romantic situation way back and a not too long ago situation of all platonic parties involved with no intention of it ever being anything other than what it was, which was a would-be authentic friendship, which was not the case at all. And again, a friendship online, as much as that could possibly mean, which is not much, but okay, you didn't pretend you didn't hear it because you were weak, not because you're blind, not because you're tired, because truth costs energy and confrontation will cost you your peace if you let it. This is a difficult road
to cross over to people who lie on a regular basis just because don't understand how detrimental it is till they one day lose something that they have some sort of value within. Sometimes you're just trying to make it through the day without starting another war. There are people who love to be at war with people. There are people who get off on rivalries and chaos and toxicity. I am not one of them. I may have been that many, many years ago, but I will choose peace over any day. But sometimes you find yourself in a circumstance that there's no peace in being there, and you have to walk away with what you have left before they take it all. You ever ask someone a simple question and watch their eyes glitch, or that half a second that they look away, that inhale before the sentence lands crooked out their mouth, that smile that shows teeth but no truth? Or online, you have a so-called friend, again, completely platonic with no intention of it being anything other than a friendship. You clocked it. Your whole spirit clocked it, because people, for myself, I'm a frequency person. I feel things. And, I go on by my day like it's nothing there, because is it really work, But sometimes it is, because sometimes when you have a person presenting themselves as a friend, or the possibility of a friend, or a lifelong friend, or a real in-person friend one day, you gotta call them on their bullshit, because this is how you find out their true truth. People will say whatever to be a friend because they're opportunists and they're users, and they're real good. And let's not forget the narcissists. They're real good at faking the funk to fool you and get what they need, but never deliver anything back to you. You clocked it with your whole spirit. You clocked it. And still, you let it slide, because you've learned that calling out a liar doesn't make them honest. It makes them louder. The story that got too perfect. Liars love details until the details expose them. You listen to their little script, the timeline that magically aligns, the explanation that's just a little bit too smooth, the tone that's too calm for the chaos they created. No, that last part is more so when, you're involved with the person beyond platonic. You're beyond friends. Again, what I'm speaking about for myself personally are two completely different situations. I'm talking about, well, actually three. One in a group setting where, loyalty and friendship is a possible possession. But it's hard when you know that people are full of shit, because they're forever taking but never returning on any plateau. And then you have your singular people who want to be your friend online, and maybe they're hoping you don't notice, or maybe they don't notice, but they're showing you signs of them being full of shit, which means that they're an opportunist and they're just trying to fake friend you so that they can get from you while they never return the give. They take, but they never give. The world is filled with people like this. And they're like this because people let them be like this. Inside, you're like, wow, they really practice these lines. But you don't interrupt. You don't correct them. You don't unfold the truth. You're sitting on it, because sometimes the performance tells you more than the actual confession ever will. And they don't even realize it. The lie you didn't want to confirm. And unfortunately, sometimes in life, we have no choice but to believe what we see, not what we heard. Here's the real truth. Half the time, you didn't call them out because you didn't want to hear the answer you already knew. So you let the lie hang in the air like a curtain you weren't ready to pull back. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be dramatic, and I'm definitely an overthinker. But I'm still waiting like 20 years for somebody to come tell me that I was wrong about something I spoke on. Because my intuition, nah, she play no games. My intuition never lied to me. And if you're a person that you're intuitive like that, you already know. You trust that intuition more than you'll ever trust anything or anyone in your entire life. It never lied to you. People did. The moment you stop protecting their image. Now, see, here's the thing. When people think they got you fooled, and you act like you believe the fake person that they presented themselves to be, when you expose them, oh, they feel away. They don't like it. I had one person that was pretending to be my friend. The opportunist. And it would not ever be anything more than a friend. And I didn't trust from day one. And I was very honest about that. I just don't trust people because they all turn out to be full of shit. I don't care how much they say they're not. The minute you stop protecting them, you're all these things. You're crazy. You lost your mind. You weren't loyal. You weren't authentic. You were fake. You were phony. Basically, they're describing themselves. What I always tell people when if someone was to ever say to my face that I'm disloyal or I'm fake, I would simply just remind them all I ever did was reflect what they gave to me. So if that's how they see me, that's how they must see themselves, right? That's a reflection of them. To date, no one has ever come to me and told me that I was disloyal or that I was fake. Because to this date, I will tell you, I'm the most loyal person on in any aspect that you will ever have the gracious glory to me. You change that. I don't change that. When you lie, you mislead, and you deceive, whether it's a person I was involved with, whether it was people that we were, doing things together to be helpful as humans in life, or a singular person trying to convince me how much I mean to them as a friend. Embuste. Your words mean shit. I watch how you move. There comes a moment and you know exactly when it hits, when you stop pretending. You stop protecting the version of them that you wanted to believe in, which was the version that they led you to believe was who they really are. You stop giving them the benefit of the doubt they never deserve. Why? Because I saw the undeniable truth in people, a person, or a place, or a thing. And when that happens, you can't change how I saw something with my own eyes. And suddenly their lies lose power, not because the truth changed, but because you did. You chose to not believe the lies they were telling you all this time. You outgrew the fantasy of the fake friendship, the fantasy of something, not with the friend people, the other people, because I want to make that perfectly clear. I don't I don't look at people like that online. I let you show me before I will say anything, but a fool is not I. And you can't, like, what can you really, like, online? I don't know. You outgrew that see of what you wanted it to be or what you thought it would be. A friendship, like, this is going to hit deeper to people who were involved with people on a more romantic aspect or building to get to that. I have 3 different resources that it hits. 2 not romantic, 1 yes. I just want to make that perfectly clear. You outgrew the fantasy, you outgrew the excuses, you outgrew the story, couldn't even read their own intentions. Gave them the paperwork, but they couldn't take the time to read it, to see their own intention, because fake people do not apply the time that they need to apply for the true investment in a friendship, the real ending. The moment you knew they were lying was also the moment the connection ended. The friendship ended. The authenticity ended later. The moment the connection ended, but not externally. That part happens later. Internally, 100%. There was a definitive shift for you. That's the day your heart packed its things while your body stayed a little longer to see if the truth would show up. There was supposed to be there a trust, a loyalty, an unspoken, got your back, you got mine. Like, let's do this in a platonic way. But once you kill that connection of truth, and I know that I can believe in you, you showed me your true person. And I can't switch that back if the truth would show up. And you know what? I stayed way longer than I should have. And the truth absolutely was the obvious, what I already knew. But I wanted to believe it wasn't so until it was staring me right in the face and I could no longer. If you want me to accept your lie and believe your lie, okay. But when I see that your lie is that, it's a lie, I can't come back from that. The truth never showed up. Not the truth they wanted me to see, but the truth that was real was there 110%. Liars never bring their own ending. So you give them one silently, cleanly, without a fight, because sometimes the quietest exit is the loudest truth. And that's what I did with this group of would-be authentic people that we were helping each other in different ways. You knew they were lying. You just stopped needing the truth to move on. The shift in their energy and yours. There's always that moment, not spoken, not admitted, when their energy glitches and your intuition turns volume all the way up. They think they're slick. They think you're slow. They think their little "I'm fine" tone means anything, but you feel it, not in your brain, not in your bones. The vibe changes before the story does. People lie with their energy long before they lie with their mouth. And that's shit people don't understand. You can't fake energy. The lie you didn't react to, that was your power. They were waiting for a reaction. Liars need reactions. They feed off of your confusion, your anger, your shock, kind of like narcissists. But when you didn't react, when you stayed calm, when you didn't flinch, oh, that scared them because your silence told the truth you already knew and you weren't going to perform for them. That wasn't you being naive. That was you taking your throne back. And that's exactly what I did with this group of people. I left quietly, silently, cleanly, and then they stole my intellectual property. The private replay where you found clarity. Later in the quiet, you replayed the lie, slow motion, frame by frame, and suddenly everything you said earlier makes sense in reverse. Their pause, their oddly specific details, their tone shift, the way they tried to jump ahead of the story before you could ask questions. And you whispered to yourself, I knew it the whole time. It's never the moment they lie that hurts. It's the moment you confirm you weren't crazy. The internal divorce, the real breakup. Because friendships, they're breakups too. You didn't confront them. You detached quietly, completely. That's the real breakup. Not the argument, not the tears, not the we need to talk. No, the real ending is emotional, not verbal. It's when you stop explaining yourself, stop defending yourself, stop hoping they'll grow. And when you're in a room full of people who are immature, irresponsible, in denial people, you gotta cleanly break away from that because no matter how you leave, they still have you as the bad guy. Because when I left the situation that I was in with this group of people, platonic, and I say group and maybe two, three people in total, realistically, it's like no matter what I would have did, even if I would have stayed shut, I still would have been the bad guy because I left. Although they benefited from me in a sense, I got nothing. And I was fine with that because I didn't need anything. But when you have me there on the false pretenses, it becomes a big problem. And I cannot remain there. It's when you decide that you're done carrying the weight of the next person's lies. And that's what it was. And this could be very much a romantic thing, right? Because a lot of people deal with this with people they're intimate with. That was not my case with this small group of people. But now that I know the truth, I was not going to carry that weight with me when I left. And I did, and I did until I decided not to, which was triggered by them stealing my intellectual property and using it for over a month. I'm done carrying the weight of someone else's lies. You have to say that to yourself and you have to mean it. Words are just words, but actions are everything. And if you don't act on your words, you're just making noise to fill an empty room and it's doing nothing. That's when the relationship becomes a memory. Even if you're still standing next to them, it means nothing because everything was a lie. The reversal, when they finally notice you change. Here's the funny thing about liars. They always notice the shift too late. They feel the absence of your effort before they feel the guilt of their lie. If ever they feel guilt of their lie. Suddenly they're asking questions, checking in. They're trying harder. But by the time they wake up, you already healed past needing them. Liars don't fear losing you. They fear losing access to you. The final truth, you let them lie, not because you were weak, but because you had already moved on in ways they could never understand. You didn't need the truth to choose your peace. And that is the part that will haunt them the most. The moments you knew they were lying, but you let them. The lie that taught you who they really were. Which one? There were so many. You know, I always want to believe the better side of people. I always want to believe that people are this versus that. But the truth will always come out. And again, they mark me now like I'm the villain because I put them on blast. but why wouldn't I? You didn't even respect me enough to tell the truth. You think I care about how you look in the public eye? Which I know would be, you don't want to look like, they don't want to look like what the world already perceives them as, even though virtually they don't care because they continue to do what they do the way they do it. And at the end of the day, me exposing them, the world doesn't give a shit about them. What they do has no effect on the world. In essence, it does, but virtually most people think very small minded. So they think what they're doing doesn't affect me, but it does in one way, shape, or form. It does. But the honest truth is, me exposing them did nothing because again, the world doesn't give a fuck about what they're doing, but they give a fuck about the world. They give a fuck about being exposed to the world with what they're doing. I didn't care about exposing them to the world. My intention is never to do wrong by people. It's got to be a point where, listen, I walked away from so many bad moments, from so many, just some of the people there are just very, their intention and the core of their soul is just ugly and evil. And I left a lot of things alone that me 5 years ago, I don't care what country or state you live in, I would have been looking for you close up and personal. But now I just let things go. Sadly, again, they stole my intellectual property. So I had to show them better than I could tell them. And they got reported to certain state and government agencies for things that they're doing because it's not right. And I don't care if they exist or they don't exist. It's not like I benefited from being there. So me not being there or being there really didn't make a difference. Again, I was contributing to their environment, not my own. I was feeding, but never getting fed, which is crazy, right? It's the type of place where people just don't like you because they just don't like you. And you inspire them, but they won't ever tell you. They just don't steal your intellectual property. They get inspiration from things that they do, but they dislike you for no reason. But now everybody has a reason to not like me. Like, oh, you see, I told you, you didn't. What? On your best day, you couldn't be me. And I mean that in a humble way, not in an arrogant way. I do so much. My 8 hours that I put into the day, benefiting, working for myself, I do so much that you would need like a week to do what I do in a day. The virtual truth and the reality of everything is no matter how you go about exposing a person or walking away from a person, they're always going to put you as disloyal or the bad guy. That's fine because with that group of people, for myself personally, I don't even want to know them. The moderator, the backstage environment. Okay, there's a lie that doesn't hurt you, but it reveals them and you feel it instantly. That shift from illusion to identity it's undeniable. You didn't want to see them for what they really are. You don't want to accept it, but there's no unseeing it. Once someone lies to you, you've officially met the version of them they tried to hide. And that version, that's who they truly are. Not the one they performed, not the one they sold you, not the one they pretend to be when it benefited them. The lie is the true introduction. The way they got comfortable lying. The wildest part, it's not even the lie itself. It's how comfortable they are or were with telling the lies. The way they didn't flinch, the way they didn't hesitate, the way the words came out, like they rehearsed it in the mirror already. And your spirit goes quiet. Not shocked, just disappointed. Because when someone lies comfortably, that means they've lied before and they'll lie again. The moment you realize you are done protecting their ego, there is a moment, and if you've been through it, you know it, where something inside you just clicks. You stop caring about their excuses. You stop cushioning their image. You stop shrinking your truth just to keep them comfortable. You stop being their emotional bodyguard. That's the moment the version of you who tolerated bullshit finally dies. And the new you rise calm so powerful, it scares the people who once controlled you. The silent exit, one that hurts them the most. People think ending needs to be arguing, screaming, the final confrontation, a dramatic scene. No. The most devastating exit is the one with no announcement. They never saw it coming. It's when you stop calling, you stop asking, you stop checking, you stop caring. It's when you remove your energy quietly because you don't need them to understand the damage. You just need them out of your atmosphere. The loudest goodbye is the one they never hear. The graduation from their chaos. You didn't just leave the liar. You graduated from the lesson because their lie didn't break you. It taught you what you won't repeat, what you won't accept, what you won't ignore, and how you'll never let it into your spirit again. You'll level up. They stayed the same. That's the real plot twist. You evolved. They evaporated. Power they never expected. You didn't call them out. You didn't expose them. You didn't drag them. You didn't beg for truth. You just detached, and that destroyed them more than any confrontation ever could. The moment you stop needing someone's honesty, you stop needing them. And see, I did drag them and I did expose them. But again, I left for more than 30 days, and 2 weeks from the point of me leaving is when they stole my intellectual property and proceeded to use it publicly. Then they got dragged. Then they got exposed. But I only dragged them a little bit because that's not my thing. I just rather detach from them. I win from not being in their existence. I win from not being in that toxic environment with them, that flood of lies and pretending to be something that they're not. I win. And it's really not about who wins or loses, but I win because I walked away and they all got to stay there and pretend to be fake friendly and nice when I could just say, fuck all of you, right? The moderators, because the moment they lied, I stayed silent. That's when I left. The moments you knew they were lying, but you let them. The truth, your spirit recognized it before your mind did. People forget this one thing. Your body knows truth. Your chest tightens, your breath shifts, your spirit goes still. Long before you can logically explain it, your intuition whispers, something isn't clean here. You don't know, you don't guess the lie. You feel the lie. It lands in your gut like a quiet alarm that only your soul can hear. That is intuition. That is divine warning. That is protection wearing silence like armor. The lie that nudged you out of the wrong timeline. Sometimes a lie isn't betrayal. It's redirection, a cosmic push, a timeline correction, a spiritual intervention, if you will. You weren't supposed to stay with them. You weren't supposed to shrink with them. You weren't meant to evolve in a space that required you to dim your intelligence to protect their insecurity. The lie was a universe saying, this is your exit. Take it. And it's true. You can't be beautiful. You can't be intelligent. You can't have a nice body. You can't be talented. You can't be creative. You're all these things. People will hate you just because they're not. The funny thing is, I don't need people to like me for me to exist because I can sit in a room with myself and be good. The lesson you didn't want but needed. If you're honest, that lie taught you more than honesty ever could. It taught you you can't trust who you can't trust, how to listen to yourself, that red flags aren't decoration. You don't owe anyone endless forgiveness, and silence is not consent. It's strategy. You didn't want this lesson, but you're thankful for it because without this lie, you might have stayed longer. You might have stayed longer than your destiny could afford. The karma of losing access to you. Here's the part people never consider when they lie. They're not risking the truth. They're risking you. Your presence is the blessing. Your energy is the currency. Your love is the miracle. Losing access to you is the karma. Their life won't fall apart dramatically. It'll fall apart very softly. In the places you used to hold up, in the areas your energy used to strengthen. You were the stability they didn't appreciate, and now they feel the absence of what they thought they'd never lose. The spiritual graduation, your new frequency. There comes a moment where you realize that lie didn't break you, it released you. It freed you from the illusion that someone was capable of meeting you at the depth you live in. You're not angry, you're not hurt, you're not resentful, you're awakened, aligned, and ascended. That lie didn't ruin your path, it rerouted you to the version of yourself you would have never met if you kept trusting the wrong person. The full circle truth. You knew they were lying, And instead of exposing them, you exposed yourself to a higher future. You didn't lose a person, you lost a distraction. And now you're exactly where you always were meant to be. I always do the wrong one. And that's the thing that people, they don't think about, they don't consider. And a lot of times they don't even realize the loss of you until you're so far gone that bringing you back wouldn't ever be an option. And in most cases, it's not an option. What tags people to other people or situations usually is the history behind it. It's harder to walk away from something or someone when you put time into it. And we get stuck in that history for that very reason. And it could be, for some people, it could be scary to walk away from something they're uncomfortably comfortable with. For me, detaching from people is so simple. I'm so good at it now in life. One of the many things that I've learned is that people are usually temporary. It's very rare that there are people in your life long term, because long term takes work. And let's face it, you got to be real with yourself. People don't even put the time, energy, and effort into their own selves or their own lives, their own desires. Why would they put it into you? Usually, people will pour into a situation with a facade when they need you for something or when you're useful in their regard in some way, shape, or form. So they will pretend because they want you to fulfill a need for them. For me, I'm a very giving person, and it costs me nothing to do certain things that I do to give people, to help them in the simplest ways. So sometimes people may feel like for example, if I do cover art for someone or I do a video for someone or anything artistically, you're not taking away from myself. You're taking away from yourself, because the second that I know that you're not the person you say you are, I start to pull back. And here's the thing about me. When I feel something shift or I see something existing that shouldn't be, a change, a fluctuation, or whatever, I call you on it. I don't let people ride anymore. Like, I call you on it because I have to let you know inadvertently but directly that I know that I'm on it. I'm aware of it. And some people will try to continue with the same characteristics to fool me, to keep me there because of my energy or what I can bring to their table to benefit them. But time always shows you. Like for me, turning on this would be group of people look, I'm the bad guy now because I exposed them. And their job is to manipulate people into believing that I'm this bad person because I did it. No, all I ever did was give to the place we all gathered. I didn't get back. And I was fine with that because I don't do things to get things back. However, you can't cross me and think there's no repercussion. You can't treat me badly and think there's no repercussion. You can't do petty, spiteful, toxic things behind the scenes. And because I don't call you on it, you think I'm not aware. So you continue and think that there's no repercussions. I don't care what anyone, especially online, thinks of me, because who are you anyway, right? In real life, real people know my real person and my true intentions. And yes, if you fuck me over in some way, shape, or form, I will just disregard you from my life like I never knew you. But when you violate in a way, you steal my intellectual property, I have to react. I have to react because if I don't, you're going to continue to be the assholes that you always were. You just covered it with a fake smile. You understand? So for me to disconnect, it doesn't matter how long I've known people. If you show me what, I might give you the whole three strikes and you're out thing. This place had so many because it was just something about being there that fulfilled a part of me. But then when that became a chore or that became annoying, like the last part of me being there was not annoying. I genuinely enjoyed it so much. I stayed longer for that, but it's all the other shit I had to deal with that I didn't like. And then after the fact, people fake message you like, oh, I can't believe you didn't reach out to me, but I can show you exactly when I did. Or another person, oh, at least show me who the snakes are before you go, or, asking me what happened. We've talked 1,000 times about the same things. It's got to come a point where I realize, okay, it is my fault that I'm stuck in this cycle because I keep repeating the pattern that I allowed you to develop with me and I'm not getting anywhere. So I either shut the fuck up or I keep complaining with no recourse for it, no change, or I just simply walk away. But please don't ever think that if you violate me, I'm not going to respond or react, or there's not going to be repercussion, because I was very patient and calm in everything I do. Another person might not give you that leeway, might not give you that benefit, because there's a lot of evil, trifling people in this world. And you know that because you just can simply look in the mirror and understand how gracious I was not to react in the moment that y'all did what you did. Now, on a personal level, if I'm talking about a romantic situation with the person separate from this fake group of people online, like real life situations, and they do something, I'm deading you. You don't exist to me. So I don't have that trusting. I don't distrust people, but I don't pour my full self into people. I give it time and I let time show me. Now, if we're just friends, whether it be online or in real life, the same consensus. You're going to show me. But like with every other situation, you have to call people out, because then that really shows you. If I call you out on something and you say to me, oh no, this happened and that and that and that, and you're apologetic, which I don't need an apology. I need you to understand what my issue is and how do we go from here. What usually happens is you call them on their bullshit and they deny it, but they still show you the same activity. Now, as a friend, a personal friend, there's not much a requirement. Just be honest, because you don't have to lie to me about anything. But you can't expect me to invest all of my energy in myself and parts of me, like my creativity, and then you give nothing back. And then the second that I don't want to cater to your needs, you drop off like I did something wrong to you. What did I lose? You understand? The half an hour it took me to design something, I don't lose from that. And in a romantic setting, you get cut off in every aspect of the word. Like there's no reminiscing. There's no like, oh, no. I don't need apologies. I need people to be real. And that's what most people should gauge for. You want people to be real in your life, real in their actions, real in their words. So you have to hold people accountable. Don't allow people, and if a person's going to lie to you one time, they're going to continue to lie to you, even if you call them on it, because they don't want you to know that they're lying. So you have to be aware of the red flags. And not just be aware of them, realize that they're there for a reason. And the sooner you back out of that circumstance, the better it will be for you. Because when people lie, that means they do other things that can be more harmful to you in other directions. So you have to be mindful of the people that you counterpart with, whether it's friends online, friends in person, or a romantic situation, because the truth is always going to come out. And there's far less good people than there are bad people, unfortunately. And you got to go through a lot of bullshit people to get to the right people. I gave up and I realized, bitch, you don't need anyone. I don't need. That's the thing. When you go in life without things, you learn to be the things that you require and need. And when you can fulfill everything you need within your world, you don't need people. Now, you can choose to let people in, but to a certain degree. People always try and overstep the welcoming. And that's when you gotta, like, no, don't be afraid to speak your mind, speak your feelings, speak your thoughts. It's like when you're involved with a person romantically, a lot of people hold back of things they feel or see or think they saw and think about, because they're in that alarm zone, and anything can push that other person away. Well, damn it, push them away, because if they can be pushed away from you, they're not for you. You understand? And most of the time, it's their own actions that push them out of your life. Don't open the door for people that are like this. Unfortunately, in life, you're going to meet people no matter how much you safeguard yourself, it doesn't matter. A person's going to get you, they're going to get you. You just got to put a gauge on how much you're going to allow yourself to get got by any one person, whether it be a friend online, a friend in real life, or a romantic situation. That's it. You are the possessor of your energy, your time, your sequence, and how much modification you're going to allow yourself for certain people to be in your world, because you're not supposed to modify yourself. There's nothing wrong with changing to grow, to better you, which will better people in your world. But if you're the only one growing and changing and modifying things about you and the other people say the same, no, that's a red flag, because growth and evolvement are something that are mandatory in life. You have many people who stay stuck in the person that they are because it works for them and feel like, fuck everybody. If they don't like the person that I am, they can just walk away. I'll give you an example, and maybe you don't know this person, but I'll give you an example of somebody who is widely online that you could see their before and their current person, Kevin Gates. And if you don't know him, look him up. Very, very genuine person. But who he used to be and who he is now, completely in every aspect of the word, mind, body, and soul. A different person. Is he perfect? No. Is he human? Absolutely. Does he make mistakes? Of course. His making mistakes is how you learn, how you evolve, and how you realize what you want and what you don't want. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. If you want to change who you are from your soul in every part of you, you can. You just got to want it. I have a lot of respect for this person who took the time to reflect and change things about him to benefit himself. You have to show your attributes. And that's a lesson that we all have to keep in mind when we meet people. We introduce people into our worlds. We allow people into our space, our energy. And you have to treat your mind, body, and soul as if you really give a shit about it. You have to, because everything affects you down the road. The mistakes you make in your earlier years affect you down the road. You just don't realize that your past can always come back to fuck you up, but your future will never leave you because you're not there yet. So when you prep for things, when you do things, when you have challenges before you, when you want to change something, just think. As long as you need to think about it in the aspect of, all right, how could this possibly affect me, my future self, and go from there. And remember, love yourself. And with that love for yourself, you will not need a single solitary person in your world. Now, that doesn't mean shut the world out. Just be cautious with you. Not enough people value themselves enough to be cautious for themselves. I used to be like, I will beat a bitch's ass if you fucks with my people. That's who I used to be. But I wouldn't fight for myself. Now I'm the opposite. I fight for myself, or I don't fight. I delegate for myself. And I fight for no one but myself. And I'm not wrong for that. Although people will make you wrong in their world, in their book, in their story. It's okay. I'll be the villain and you be the victim. It doesn't change my life one way or another. Why? Because who the fuck are you, right? It doesn't matter. Like, there's a person, his name is Charles, and in his story, he's the victim and I'm the villain. My story completely different, but that's what happens when you have a narcissist that tries to manipulate you. At the end of it, they tried to get you, but they got, and now they're mad. So all they can do is talk shit about you. People who are mad because they didn't get you, you got them inadvertently. You weren't even trying to get them, but you did. They will always talk badly about you, not because you're a bad person, but because they feel like they got, right? And I don't mean like in a romantic way. I mean like in a business way. We had a business endeavor. He breached, he reneged, he didn't do his end. So he didn't get paid. But you handle, this is the type of person who handles their business very sloppy. I'm sorry that you don't know how to conduct business appropriately and you want to hold me accountable, but not yourself. Am I wrong in the story of that? I should have listened to the first red flag and walk away. But sometimes we put people on a pedestal that they don't belong on, they don't deserve to be on, because they are a facade. And when you learn that about people, it changes your perception of them. And maybe some people may look at me like that, but I didn't change the person I am. I just changed how I directed things towards a group of people, because they're shit. No one can change my feeling about that group of people, because they have showed me who they are. I mean, they showed me a long time ago. Again, I chose not to address it, and that's on me. But I can own that. And I don't blame them at all for me being there for the time that I was there. I don't blame them for anything. That's why I walked away until they did what they did. And then I still waited a couple of weeks, but I had to react, because again, they're the type of people, when you stay shut, they think you don't realize. When you stay shut, they think you're weak or you fear. So sometimes you have to put on those boots you used to wear so well and kick them in the face, just to show them I'm not the bitch you fuck with. All right, that's for now. I'll catch you in the shadows. Okay, see you. Bye.